Big Balls was my original rap name. In the hood where I grew up in the 90s, there was a little bit of a drought, and I was doing my thing back then, and they gave me the name Santa Balls. It was Christmas time. And then it just kind of transferred into Big Balls, and I was doing music, and I actually was the old D-O-double-G, right, when Snoop Dogg came out. And then he came out with that D-O-double-G stuff, so I was like, man, I gotta change it. Everyone's gonna think I'm biting. So I went ahead and went with my nickname in the streets, which was Big Balls. Had an opportunity about 8 years ago to do some music with Haystack, which who I've known for 20 years. We've done music over the years, but I had an opportunity to finish some stuff that they was working on. And then I got the opportunity after we did the music to go on tour with them. And when I went to go on tour, they asked me, so what do you want to go by? Big Balls, Mike Owens? And I was like, to be real with you, on one of the tracks, Stack called me BB Swing. He was like, BB Swing on that horse. So I was like, man, I want to go with BB Swing. Stack called me BB Swing. And if somebody would have called me BB Swing 20 years ago, I would have changed my name then. Basically, if you type in the words Big Balls, I ain't the first thing that pops up. You won't be happy with what you see. So now, though, BB Swing, it made a big difference. It's actually a style of music. So, and somehow, with that being a style of music and me putting that in there as my name, it projected me up a little bit further into like the search engines and stuff like that. So I was pretty happy with it. So for about the past 8 years, I've been BB Swing. I'll be honest with you, like I'm from Ohio, so I know there's a lot of people in Columbus that know Stack and stuff, but I was always my own artist, so I wasn't listening to Haystack, I wasn't listening to nobody. I only heard what was on the radio occasionally when I turned the radio on. The radio was a big thing back then. But I had hooked up with some of my homies from Vegas, and we were doing a lot of big things musically then, and they knew Haystack and knew of him. And they were creating a group called Paleface, which I actually was a big part of starting. I started a company called Paleface Productions. And it had nothing to do with really being a Paleface. It was what people called me, a PFP, a Paleface player. They used to call me that. There wasn't a lot of white rappers back then, so that's what they called me, you know what I mean? So I went with that, and it grew to something bigger. It grew to more of like an elite style of Paleface rappers at the time. So I backed out of it for a few years, taking care of my family, but right at that time is when I met Stack, and we worked a little bit with the Paleface. I backed out for about a year, trying to do the family thing, being the man thing, and then slowly stayed in contact with Stack over the years. Maslin Canton area, that's the Hall of Fame city where the Football Hall of Fame is. Actually, it's pretty rough areas out there. I mean, I spent 8 years outside of Maslin Canton area, and there's all kinds of country in the sticks. I mean, dirt floor bathroom sticks, real dirty, to like an Indian reservation type of hood. And so I went from dirt to dirt really growing up, and it kind of developed who I am as an artist, though. I ain't mad at it. It's just what created BB Swing, you know what I mean, or Big Balls over the years. Was actually 8 years dirt floor country and then straight to the projects. So, and it wasn't like your average big tall buildings projects. This was like an Indian reservation, kind of a country hood. You know what I mean? It was rough. Childhood was rough, you know what I mean? I never had nothing. My mom, single mom, raised me up with my grandparents at first, the first 8 years of my life. And then when I turned 9, she moved in with her sister, who had 5 boys. So it was my mom and her sister and 6 boys. But, I mean, there was times we didn't eat, you know what I mean? We ate spaghetti and ketchup was a real thing at our house, you know what I mean, back then. Spaghetti and butter, that's what we had. Biscuits for 3-4 days. And that's basically, I learned how to cook too back then. I ain't hating on none of it. That's why I'm so proud to be where I am now, you know what I mean? A lot of people that hate on the fact you shouldn't be proud of, the truth is I'm proud because I come from nothing, man, you know what I mean? I really got it out the mud, and I worked hard to get where I am. And now I'm all and I'm all legal, 100% who I am. I mean, it took a lot of hard work and a lot of determination, a lot of getting my ass kicked to get here. But, and I went through hell after that, growing up when I was about 19, me and my cousin, like I said, there was 5 boys and me. One of them was my age. We slept in the same bed till we was 15. Wore the same clothes, same chicks, you didn't even say my name without saying his name. When we were 19, he just got out of jail. We had our own apartment down in Maslin, and just really out of love, but out of hatred, he got killed. He got shot 5 times. He was a bad dude, so dude was afraid. I was sleeping, and he woke me up out of bed, died in my arms, my best friend. So it set me up for a world of hurt after that, too. I spent 10 years in a downward spiral. I still did music through that time. Right after my cousin died, I can still remember the night vividly. My bedroom was up to the right, and we lived in an apartment. And it was down the basement or down the steps. He went out the door, and he walked up to the car door. They said basically the first shot was from point blank, so it was a 12-gauge shotgun. Dude put the barrel out the window out of fear. My cousin, no shirt, no nothing, walks up, puts his chest on the barrel like, you better pull that trigger. Dude pulls the trigger and shoots him 2 more times in the chest. My cousin rolled over, he shot him 2 more times in the back. My cousin crawled up a flight of steps, basically woke me up out of bed. The reason that is so vivid is because in my sleep, I could hear the gunshots from across the way, but it wasn't enough to wake me up, just enough to kind of jolt me in my sleep, and then suddenly I'm getting woke up, by my cousin. Last words he ever said was, "Help me, Mike." Baddest dude I knew, too. Toughest dude out there. Toughest motherfucker I knew. And it sent me in a downward spiral for about 10 years. It did, real hard. Drug abuse, just you name it. Abusing myself, abusing my women, abusive lifestyle. Throughout that, though, I tried to keep it secret because my name in the streets was so solid. And truthfully, the reason I'm here right now and not dead in the streets where I'm from, because we don't play, is because of my name in the streets. You know what I mean? When I would do something crazy, the next dude would say, "Oh, you can't do nothing." That's big balls. You know what I mean? So it kept me from getting took out, probably. All the bullshit I did do. Basically, keep it 100. Throughout that, I tried to keep it secret. I tried to remain professional. I still was big balls and doing the best music, some of the best music I ever did in my life. At that particular moment, I got the opportunity. I stacked up $25,000 cash with a couple other dudes. This is right when Cash Money got their deal. Before that, I did some stuff, went on tour, little things with a subsidiary of Def Jam, and I was with a label called Red Eye Records, and we dropped a compilation album. I was in a group called Another Breed. But when I became the solo artist, Big Balls, this is what I did. I flew to New Orleans and did a song with Lil Wayne and Baby when Wayne was about 12 or 13 years old. It was right when they got their money from Universal. And I'll never forget it, man. It's still out there, too. There's a couple different versions of it. You can check it out. One's called Getting Managed, and the other one's called OH Diamond Big Time. And so after that, I got a big record deal with Little Joe Entertainment, which is out of Miami in Florida, which is, at that time, was considered the godfather of Southern hip-hop. They owned Luke and Trick Daddy and all the down south rappers that were doing anything. Luke at that time was putting out music like Pop That Coochie and stuff like that, and they got banned. And that's when the federal government tried to come in and stop the music. And that was a big thing. So what this guy does, Joe Weinberger, the owner of Little Joe Records, he sued the federal government and won $300 million or something. One of the only guys to ever beat the federal government. And that's that video, if you look it up right now, still to this day, is Banned in the USA by Luke. They did that, Banned in the USA. The whole video is them in the courtroom, you know what I mean, going through it. So that was my first major record deal. And once I got the record deal, they flew me back out to New Orleans, and I did a song with BG, the day he was doing the day he was shooting the Bling Bling video. And that was a big thing. And he told me some stories. I got to rub elbows with a lot of superstars back then. I had songs with all the Bone characters. I worked with them. They actually stole some material from me over time. Nothing like turning on MTV and seeing your song on there and seeing somebody else doing it. Real talk. No offense, but that really happened. And then I got like Sticky Fingers from Onyx. I got songs with Looney Coleon. Some of the old school greats. There was a time, I think it was The Source magazine was the biggest hip hop magazine at one time. Wasn't that what it was, The Source? Well, it had Onyx on the cover, Bone, and Cash Money. I had songs with all of them. I was staring at it like, oh my God, what am I doing?